Yo, that's wild, man. They willing to give their life up for you, B. That's crazy.
Yeah, man, they're dope.
Yo, they
dope.
fuck with you. That's
They're
why you
dope.
on my crew, man. That's why you on my crew, man.
Hey, Luffy, I gotta talk to you, man.
Hey, what's up?
I gotta talk to you.
About what? You trying to get out of? I mean, I'm trying to get out of here too. But what do you think?
I can't leave him, bro.
Say what?
I can't leave him.
You stupid.
Wait, what? You do realize what they're doing, right?
Listen, man. Those my niggas. All right? I know they said about to do it for me, but bro, I gotta do it for them.
You're so dumb. You are really dumb.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You're saying that they're trying to save you, but you want to go save them. Okay, somebody, you want me to go come save you? Is that what you
It
want
ain't
next?
about you.
You part of the fucking crew now. I'm your captain. You know that, right? I'm your fucking captain, but you want to go back?
Bro, I can't leave my niggas.
Dog, they just said
Bro,
they got
if I
us.
leave them,
they good.
then I'ma leave you eventually.
All right, fuck it, man. All right, you know
That's
what?
what's gonna happen.
Go. Fucking go. It's cool. It's cool. You don't want to join the fucking crew anyway. All right? I've been trying to get you to join this goddamn crew 300 fucking chapters ago.
What kind of shit is that? Of course I want to join the crew. Of course I want to join the crew. Listen, my nigga, I almost died a bunch of times for your ass. I gave you blood, motherfucker. What do you mean?
All
Do
right.
I want?
Listen, we'll be in Wano.
All right, I come to Wano then.
One Piece chapter 950. Whoa. I'm saying 950 something because I was just reading One Piece chapter 959 and the chapter where Luffy was talking to Zoro about Jinbei. Well, Chopper asked Luffy what was going on and said he was worried about Jinbei because Jinbei wasn't there yet and Big Mom got there before him. And then Zoro told him if he's alive, he'll come. And in this chapter, Jinbei's here. And of course, we want to talk about Jinbei being here and the significance of it. But before we get to that, One Piece chapter 976 is obviously out. And a lot happened this chapter without a lot happening, if that makes sense. Let's talk about Kinemon. And Kinemon coming to the realization, well, I thought that panel was funny with Kinemon and the other scabbards where they're saying, you used up not only your luck, but our luck as well because of how many things went right because Kinemon got it wrong. And I like them calling him out about it because I guess for me, it was such a lucky thing to happen. I like that Oda or the stories acknowledging this was a crazy thing to happen for it to work out this way. Because when you think about it, based on this chapter, from the wrong port with Orochi, saving the entire alliance, Denjiro showing up at the right time, Jinbei showing up at the right time, all that would have been for naught if Kinemon had given the correct port. So definitely used up all his luck. I hope that this is not a foreshadowing of Kinemon actually dying because I don't want Kinemon to die. I don't think personally it would serve the purpose of a tearjerker or accomplishing normally what death does in One Piece. I hope Kinemon doesn't die. I don't think he's going to die, but I really appreciate them acknowledging just how lucky of a chance that was for Kinemon to guess the wrong port and for it to completely work out in their favor. This chapter was also rallying cry, where Kinemon, being the leader of the Scabbards and the leader, de facto leader of the Alliance in some sorts, was rallying everybody together because now they have all the forces that they need seemingly to go against Orochi and Kaido, and Kinemon was bringing them all together saying, you know what, at this time we have to go avenge Odin because we know that's what the Scabbards live for, Kazuki Odin. That was cool. It's like a chapter in transition. We now have all our forces. Now we come up with a plan, which more than likely based on this chapter is going to be a straight up head-on fight because now they should know that the Alliance is coming. Kawamatsu attacks Kanjuro. In my last review, I don't think you guys remember I talked about Kanjuro and saying he may be a lot more competent than we think. Where Kanjuro, he was using the incorrect hand to draw and use his devil fruit and do different things. Now we see he's actually an excellent artist. He created a bird to fly away after fighting against Kawamatsu, who we expect to be very strong because he was also in that jail for a long time. He waited numerous years while Kanjuro was transported. So Kanjuro being this strong, and again, he's catching them off guard as well because he's using techniques, as Kinemon pointed out, that they've never seen before. This isn't really unexpected. I also said in my previous review that more than likely, the most interesting thing is if Kanjuro gets away. But I was also worried about how he would get away. Kanjuro created a bird, and then he used a ink cloud, and then no one could get to him because he had rains of arrows of ink coming down to the Alliance. Now, Sanji went after him, but Sanji, going back into Sanji character, then goes to protect Nami. People are saying Simp Sanji or all these different things. That's just Sanji's character. He's going to protect the woman no matter what. But that's kind of a convenient point of Sanji not going after Kanjuro. There were complaints during the live reaction where it was, well, if Sanji can't go after him, well, Luffy can fly. Law can use room and shambles. Why would we let him get away? And for me, it's more interesting if Kanjuro gets away, because now it could possibly be development for Momo. We get to see an actual fight with Kanjuro and somebody from the Scabbards. I was saying it could be Denjiro or Kinemon, but Kanjuro is proving himself to be very competent. He even said, well, my role is over now. Let me accomplish what I set out to accomplish. So I'm enjoying Kanjuro because, again, competence amongst the Scabbards, it wasn't very prevalent. And for Kanjuro being as competent as he is, getting away, and if you guys noticed with Kanjuro, he doesn't have to use his ink brush to fight. His actual hair or his wig, that created the ink cloud that let the showers of arrows fly down. So Kanjuro, that's somebody we actually should be looking forward to seeing more of because he has some very, very interesting abilities. I'm excited for more of Kanjuro. I know a lot of people don't like him because he betrayed the Alliance, he did all these things. I like him. He's showing a lot of competence and he's funny. He's a funny guy. Initially, upon reading, you're like, well, all these powerhouses and Kanjuro gets away from them. But again, Kanjuro is clever. He has a unique power. They've never seen it before. So that was cool. I also liked, I didn't mention this in the live reaction, I actually liked how they communicated what was going on. It was like, yo, they're saying Kanjuro is a traitor. We should probably go after him. Because Luffy and the Straw Hats, they've spent time with Kanjuro and even thanked Kanjuro for sacrificing himself for Kinemon and doing all these different things. So him being the traitor now, I liked how they all reacted and were like, oh my God, that's a traitor. We should actually do something. It was weird with Luffy, where Luffy could still speak to Momo, but he wasn't going to go after him. But then Momo said, you know what, go kill Kaido and Orochi. I'll get out of here myself. And that goes back to Momo's development. So you understand why Kanjuro had to get away, but you got an eyebrow raised like, we have a lot of strong people here. I don't know how I feel about that. And, you know, but it is what it is. He got away. I think it makes for more interesting and compelling stuff to happen in Onigashima. So I'm all for it. Again, with Kanjuro, where Momonosuke was saying everyone is going to die, he just casually looks at him and says, yeah, everyone is going to die just like your dad. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, he's playing the role. Like, he's fulfilling the role that they asked of him, and he doesn't have any remorse, any care in the world, because that's his role. And I think that's why people should like Kanjuro. Again, he's done some despicable things. It's led to a lot that, you know, hurt the Scabbards and hurt Wano overall. That was the point, to hurt Wano, to hurt people, because hurt people hurt people. And, you know, everything that Kanjuro and Orochi went through back in the day, it's kind of like a microcosm of like what Wano is in general. Wano of the past, at least, where kids were persecuted for the sins of their fathers, which probably shouldn't be something that should continue, where if a dad or someone from the family does something, the entire bloodline or the entire family shouldn't be wiped out. But that's like ancient times and how things operated. So I understand why Oda is going with that route. I'd mentioned development for Momonosuke. Something that we've always said. I've said it, other people have said it. Momo is clearly not Oden. He is not who Oden was even back then as a child. Oden had a lot of feats and a lot of like stories, legends about him as a kid. And I think Momo is starting to set in that I'm not my dad. And I think every kid with a great father, it's in stories or in real life sometimes, they go through this moment where everyone tries to make them their father, or they have this expectation of them to be their father. And we saw with Kaido, when Kaido had Momo that time at the castle, I think he expected more from Momo. But Momo was spouting dreams that were not even his own. So I think Momonosuke, he's slowly starting to realize, I'm not my dad, I have to be me, and I guess figure things out as I would. Telling Luffy and the others that he promises to get out of his situation, his jam, on his own. Again, I wouldn't believe that little kid because he hasn't done anything of note at all in the story. But this is an opportunity for Momo as a character to bloom and become his own man and develop his own thing, Momonosuke Kozuki, and not Kozuki Momonosuke, son of Odin. And we saw Luffy acknowledge that. Luffy was actually impressed that Momo was now behaving like a man, because remember when he first met Momo, that's not how he was at all. He was a crybaby, he was whiny, he was trying to get everybody to do things for him. So this is the progression of Momo's character. So Momo, again, being an annoying brat at the beginning, we're seeing signs of his development. So people say characters don't develop in One Piece. I show you Momonosuke. Something that was hilarious is Raizo asking Denjiro, what happened to your face? And Denjiro says, well, a lot happened. And I'm like, a lot happened? When? You went into a hut and came out a different man with a different face. What? But, you know, it's like moments like that are funny. Those are One Piece moments for me, where, you know, things that really don't make any sense at all, it's just like thrown to the wayside as like a gag. And, you know, those things could be taken for granted because, you know, now we're reading every chapter every week. We're having several discussions on the chapter. We're over-analyzing. Things could be dissected and, you know, be viewed as negatives. And, you know, sometimes I'm guilty of that, where I look at something and I start analyzing and I'm just like, why is this happening? And then I forget of like Eni's lobby and certain things that happened, the Klabatamon and, you know, things that I loved back then. It didn't bother me at all. Sometimes taking a step back, it helps a lot in regards to enjoyment of a story. Not saying you don't think about it, but the essence of One Piece, you have to sometimes just enjoy it and go with the flow because we have walking, talking skeletons in One Piece. So some things are just not going to make sense. And this is not, I'm not trying to make sense of the Denjiro thing because I didn't care about it that much that he has a different face. Sometimes I realize myself doing it, you know, where I'm getting annoyed or certain panels are pissing me off because logically, I can't get it in my brain as to how that could make sense. I absolutely enjoy One Piece as a story and I take it for what it's worth. So, you know, sometimes just enjoy it. Just go with the flow. Let One Piece be One Piece. Again, with the Denjiro thing, I thought it was hilarious. And there were some other funny moments where the samurai were on Law's ship. He's like, this is not a ship for transporting samurai. He's like, thank you for your hospitality. He's like, this is not a ship for transporting samurai. Get off my ship. What are you talking about? The narrative continues with Kid where he's just trying to keep up with Luffy saying that they're not going to stay behind the Straw Hat ship. I thought something that was interesting was when they realized that Jinbei was joining the Straw Hats. Jinbei's introduction was a bit contrived and I don't want to say cringy, but him saying allow me to introduce myself is a bit weird. But I'm not sure if Oda's trying to establish Jinbei's gag here for the crew because we know he's probably going to need one if he ends up making it out of Wano, which I expect him to because he had multiple opportunities to die. Again, I mentioned, you know, in 959 where Luffy and Jinbei, they're talking about, or Luffy and Zoro, they're talking about Jinbei and Jinbei shows up now. So Luffy's really worried about him. So that's cool to see. But I think that was more so for the fans. For fans that had been waiting for Jinbei to come back. It's a reintroduction. It's like, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Jinbei. Law's and Kid's reaction to it, pretty interesting because they realize the importance or the significance of a former warlord joining the Straw Hats. The Straw Hats are already a powerhouse and Jinbei joining now, that's an amazing addition. For instance, like if a warlord, like say Boa joined Law, right? Or Weevil joined Kid. Those are huge additions to their crew. And at this point, with Law's and Kid's crew in comparison to the Straw Hats, it's no contest. It's literally no contest. Again, with Killer, Heat Wire, they're more fleshed out than Law's crew with, you know, Penguin and Beppo and those guys. Straw Hats? Zoro, Sanji, Robin, Jinbei, Frankie, Usopp, Brook. They have powerhouses on their crew. Where for Law and Kid, Law got John Bart, Luffy got Jinbei. You know, it's life isn't fair sometimes. So maybe at some point, maybe they gain new crew members in Wano. But I think the only way, honestly, where Kid and Law's crew could compete with each other is if they combine their crews. Like if Law and Kid combine their crews, then we can say, okay, Kid is the captain, Law is the right hand, Killer's number 3, he is number 4. Then you have a case to be made. Still inferior, I think, because again, Law's crew doesn't offer much outside of being really good doctors. By themselves, you're not competing with the Straw Hats. You're just outclassed in every way. Maybe not doctoring and surgery, but pretty much everything else. But yeah, Jinbei's back. It's exciting. So I'm not going to rain on the parade. I'm not going to tell you guys about my qualms with Jinbei being here now because they're not valid yet. The reason why they're not valid is because we don't know how he got back there because I have a lot of questions, but now I'm excited to see Jinbei back and I want to see how we're going to progress throughout the story with him being in Wano. We do need an explanation at some point, preferably next chapter. The Straw Hats like to do that where things happen and they come together and they don't discuss it at all. This is different. We need a reason why this happened. We need it. But it's not a complaint now. There's nothing to complain about now. Jinbei is back. One thing you can call out or point out is a convenience and sequence of events where it seems like, all right, it's like a bunch of boxes getting checked off, where it's like, all right, Denjiro reveal, Trader reveal, Jinbei's back, I guess Nekomamushi's next to come back. After that, we're ready for the war. It feels a bit like boxes being checked. Is it just me? Give me your thoughts. I think the chapter was still a good chapter, 7.5 to 8. I really liked, again, Kanjuro. Like, people tell me I like villains all the time, but I think villains just offer, it goes outside the expected shonen stuff that happens when the villains, they're just badass and they're competent. So I really enjoyed that. Momo's progression, that was cool. Jinbei's return, again, I need an explanation at some point, but a good chapter. Things are going to start to pick up. Nekomamushi's going to come back soon. Then it's time for war. No surprise attack, just head on fighting. I really can't wait. But guys, give me your thoughts. How do you feel about the chapter? What did you like? What did you dislike? How do you feel about Jinbei overall getting away from Big Mom? There are things to discuss. We'll talk about the significance of Jinbei being back at some point in a different video. Maybe the analysis when the chapter comes out on Sunday. But guys, again, give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on twitch.tv as well, /BragoDAce. We're streaming every other night on that platform. Pirate Warriors 4 tonight, so you can come check that out. People have been telling me about the Pirate Warriors ending. Once I see the ending, I might make a video about it because I think that could be hilarious. Guys, give me your thoughts per usual. Thank you guys so much for your support. Make sure to like. My patrons, I appreciate you guys and your support. That means a lot. Live reaction will be back this weekend. The skit that I made, it seems to be a bit more relevant now, so a part 2 may be incoming because we gotta ask Jinbei about his experience. And you know, now you gotta congratulate him for coming to Wano and being in Wano. So fun times ahead. So guys, thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.